Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kseniya. I make videos for people who are going through the family immigration process. Today we're going to fill out the form I-90, application to replace or renew your green card online. First, you want to log into your USCIS account and click on the button that says file a form online or navigate to it from this drop-down menu. Then select the form which you wish to file and click Start Form. It will give you some notes again that you need to read here and click Start. First, it asks us what our current immigration status is. So here you need to select if you are a lawful permanent resident, a conditional permanent resident, or a commuter. Today, we're going to only cover most common cases for regular permanent residents and conditional permanent residents. So if you are a lawful permanent resident and you have a 10-year green card, you need to select this. And if you are a conditional permanent resident with a temporary 2-year green card, you need to select this option. However, what should you do in a situation where USCIS made a mistake on your application and wrongly assigned you your class of admission? If you, for example, are supposed to be a conditional permanent resident, but instead you received a green card with a code IR, for example, in that case, you need to select what you actually are supposed to be. So you will select, I am a conditional permanent resident. If, on the other hand, you were supposed to receive a 10-year green card, but instead you received a conditional green card, you will select, I am a lawful permanent resident. So let's say, for example, we are a conditional permanent resident and USCIS accidentally gave us a 10-year green card. So click Next. The next section asks us for the reason why we're applying to replace our card. We can either select that it was lost, stolen, or destroyed, your card was never received, your card was mutilated, which means damaged, your card has incorrect data on it because of the error of USCIS, or your information was changed. So for options 2 and 4, you do not need to pay a fee. For each of these options, whatever option you select will determine the kind of evidence you will be asked to provide. You can also review the type of evidence necessary in the Form I-90 instructions. I also wanted to make a quick note about some of these options. If you never received your green card at the address which you provided to USCIS, they will only replace your card for free if it was returned back to them by the post office as undeliverable. However, if your card was never returned back to USCIS, it is then considered lost. And in that case, you will have to pay the application fee to have your card replaced. This reason right here that talks about your card having incorrect data on it because of USCIS or DHS error, USCIS will only replace your green card for free if it was truly their mistake. When it comes to incorrect class of admission, it is very likely a DHS error. When it comes to misspellings of your name, however, you need to check your prior applications to make sure that you indicated your name the way it's supposed to be on all applications. And the last option here is for those of you who legally changed your biographic information, such as your name or your sex, for example. But you need to keep in mind that you don't need to select this option and you don't need to apply for this application if, for example, when you were initially filling out all your paperwork for a green card, you indicated the name that you want used on your green card. For example, you started using your spouse's last name, even if it was not indicated in your marriage certificate or other documents like Social Security card or driver's license. As long as it is already on your green card the way you want it to be, you do not need to use this application. If you are a regular 10-year permanent resident, there are a lot of other reasons that you may be applying for a green card replacement or renewal. So some of the reasons are still the same, but there's also additional reasons that I wanted to point out. One of the common reasons why people apply for renewal is that your permanent resident card will expire within 6 months. If, for example, you are a conditional permanent resident and you were accidentally given a 10-year green card, this option is not for you. And you cannot apply for the form I-90 to apply for a 10-year green card. If you are a conditional permanent resident, before your green card expires, you're going to have to apply for removal of conditions using the form I-751. So this means that if your green card is 9 years and 6 months old, you can apply for renewal 6 months before it reaches its 10-year mark. However, USCIS also encourages you to consider applying for naturalization instead. And when you do apply for naturalization, you will not have to apply for this form because with your naturalization receipt notice, you will also get an extension of your permanent resident card, which you can then use to travel, for example. The following two options are for permanent residents who became permanent residents before they turned 14, who will have to update their green card. And depending on which option you pick, out of these two, you will either have to pay the fee or not have to pay the fee. And the last option is to replace the prior edition of your alien registration card to a new version of a green card. And for this option, you will also have to pay the application fee. So let's say, for example, in our case, DHS made a mistake on our green card. Click Next. They ask us if we're requesting any accommodations because of disabilities. We'll say no. Is anybody assisting us? We'll say no. So here you will need to provide your current legal name the way it actually is. So if, for example, they misspelled your name on your green card, you still need to write your actual correctly spelled name here. The next question asks if our name legally changed since we received our permanent resident card. You either answer yes, which will determine additional evidence that we will need to provide, and indicate what is your name exactly as it appears on your permanent resident card. If your name legally changed since you received your permanent resident card, here you will write that updated name, and then down here you will write the name as it appears on your green card. So let's say, for example, we wrote Jane's maiden name and she wants it changed to her married name. Click Next. Provide your contact information. Select if it's the same as your mobile number, and your email will automatically be filled in on your USCIS account. Provide your current mailing address. You can leave this first line blank if you reside and receive mail at this mailing address. If somebody else resides at this mailing address and you would like them to receive your personal mail, you can write that person's name here. But let's say in our case, we live at our mailing address also. Next, indicate if your current mailing address is the same as physical address. Let's say yes. If you say no, it will ask you to provide your physical address. Click Next. Your biographic information. Next, provide your date of birth, where you were born, country of birth. So next question asks about our class of admission. If you are filling out this application because USCIS made a mistake on your card and gave you the wrong class of admission, here you will still need to write the class of admission that is written on your permanent resident card, because that is likely what they have in their system, even if it is wrong. Let's say we were supposed to be a conditional permanent resident, but they gave us a 10-year green card, spouse of a U.S. citizen. Please remember that if USCIS accidentally gave you immediate relative class of admission on your green card, but you are actually supposed to be a conditional resident, aside from updating your information on your green card, you will also be required to submit the removal of conditions application I-751 before your conditional green card is set to expire. Otherwise, when it's time for you to apply for naturalization, your naturalization application may be denied if you don't apply for removal of conditions. And if you have one of the older versions of a permanent resident card and you struggle to find the class of admission here, you will simply need to select the class of admission that best fits your situation, even if the numbers and the letters are now different. You can also go to the Department of Homeland Security classes of admission page to find what your new updated class of admission would be. Next, provide on what date you became a permanent resident, which basically means the issue date on your permanent resident card. Next, it asks where we applied for our immigrant visa or adjustment of status. If you did consular, you can provide the embassy or consulate. If you did adjustment of status, you will need to provide the USCIS office. And for those of you who did adjustment of status, you will write the actual field office where you had your green card interview. And if you didn't have an interview, the field office that adjudicated your case. If you are unsure which field office processed your case, you can look it up using the field office locator on the USCIS site by zip code. So let's say, for example, our field office was in Los Angeles. Next, they ask where we had our adjustment of status granted, and it will most likely be the same. Click Next. The next question asks if we entered US with an immigrant visa. This only applies to applicants who went through the consular process. If you applied for adjustment of status from inside the United States, you will click No. If you answer yes, they will ask you the port of entry you used to enter the United States, which means the place where they actually checked your passport and your visa. And then you will need to provide your final destination in the US, so the final state where you were headed to. But let's say in our case, we applied for adjustment of status, which means we did not enter the US with an immigrant visa, so we'll select no. The next question asks if we've ever been in exclusion, deportation, or removal proceedings. People who went through asylum court will have to answer yes to this question. The final question here asks if we've ever abandoned our permanent resident status. We'll say no. Provide your A number. If your alien number is less than 9 digits, you will need to insert zeros after letter A to make up the 9 numbers, like an example here. Provide your social security number and provide your USCIS online account number. If you've never filed any applications with USCIS on your USCIS online account, you probably don't have an account number. Let's say we don't know our online account number. And provide your parents' first names. Only first names. Next. Now we're at the evidence section, so we will need to upload an image of the front and the back of your green card. You can scan or take a picture, but make sure it is nice and clear. You can insert both the front and the back picture of your green card on one page and upload that file. Next, you will be asked to provide the proof of your legal name change, because in the beginning right here, we indicated in the name section that our name legally changed since we got our green card. So you will need to provide one of these types of evidences that shows your correct name or information. We also noticed that USCIS made a mistake on our green card and gave us the wrong class of admission. In that case, click Next and provide additional information here. So we'll click on Add a Response, select the section, and provide an explanation. This is approximately the kind of explanation I would provide in that section. I wrote that there was a wrong class of admission indicated on my permanent resident card, and then my card was issued with class of admission IR1 while it is supposed to be CR1, and that is because I've been married for less than 2 years at the time of my green card approval. So you can save the response. And if there is any additional information that needs to be provided in your case, you can add as many additional responses as necessary. So click Next. You have an opportunity to review your application. It seems that our form filing fee is 0 because USCIS made an error on our application. Click Next, review your form, and I suggest to download the PDF draft of your application to have for your own records in the future. Click Next. Click this that you agree. Click Next and sign this application by clicking this box and providing your legal name. And since we don't have to pay the fee, you will simply click Submit the I-90 form. If, for example, you do have to pay the application fee, let's say, for instance, we select a reason for applying is that you legally changed your name. When you go to the application summary, it will then tell you that you will need to pay the online fee, and it will direct you to the Pay and Submit page. As you can see, this application is fairly simple. I hope I was able to answer some of the most common questions that people have about this form. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you guys in my next videos. Bye!